Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's B. Avery here for another episode of Just My Opinion. Welcome back to the channel. You guys know I do appreciate it. This one right here is Lovecraft Country Season 1, Episode 6, titled Meet Me in Daegu. And what is Daegu? They are in South Korea, Daegu, South Korea. The year is it's the fall of 1949. And this is where, when we saw in the promo, that we're going to have Atticus and Gia coming together and see what their whole relationship is about, that dynamic in between them. Because in episode 1, I believe at the end, that's when we saw Atticus tick called South Korea that long 27 syllable number. And she was like, you went home, and later on in the episode, I think it was at the end of last episode, he was transcribing or translating the language of Adam, and it said die, and then he remembered that she told him, don't go back home because you're gonna die, and we'll get into all that later. But now we see all that coming together. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. If you haven't seen this episode, this is going to be a spoiler-filled episode like it always is. So if you haven't seen it, turn the video off now, press pause, subscribe, watch later, go watch the episode, come back, because I'm going to spoil it up, down, left, right, in, and out, as if you've already seen it. You have been warned. And I'll just go ahead and tell y'all now, I really wasn't feeling this episode as much as I was the previous ones. This one was just like super weird for me. Episode 2 was weird. This one was weird too. And it's not just because this was in majority Korean subtitles. I believe in this episode, we actually had a performance that was singing Spanish and Korean at the same time. That was kind of interesting. But it's not that, because I'm used to reading subtitles. I mean, I've been watching, foreign martial arts films and anime since I was a little boy. So it's not foreign to me. So that's not the reason. So I'll just go ahead and say, if you're not in the subtitles, and I can understand why this episode wouldn't be for you. But mainly, guys, this episode was just gross. It was just nasty as hell. I thought the last episode was nasty. This episode was super nasty, as we find out that Gia is some Camino spirit that has been summoned by her mother from either the Mudang or the shaman, which we saw at the end of this episode. I mean, y'all may have to help me out, you know what I'm saying, with all your intelligent theories like y'all always do, because this one was a doozy for me. But opening up the episode, we see Gia just, in the theater, having a good time, enjoying her some Judy Garland, which is a famous, of course, she's not here anymore. I believe she passed away in the 60s. But a famous American actress, singer, performer, dancer, and she was known internationally. And so Gia is just gushing out at the scene, just like, oh man, Judy Garland. And she's we think that she's singing and dancing in the theater, but she's imagining that, or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've imagined myself filling shoes of other people and myself or whatever all the time. So that's perfectly normal. But we're getting to know a little bit about this South Korean culture right here, and find out what is important to them. What do they value? And Gia's in school right now. They talk about that at the very beginning. They're trying to grow food and crops for the, for next season or next year or whatever. Because I think this whole episode spans over a year. And, we find out that their husband is not there anymore. Gia's father, or Uma is Gia's mother, that her father's not there anymore. And there was a line at the very beginning, like, hey, if we put too much spices in it, we won't have anything to eat in the winter. And then that's when Gia was like, well, hey, maybe the neighbors can invite us over. And then you get that dun-dun-dun-dun, like that dramatic music. And he's like, oh, some secret's about to come out. And, Uma, the mother's getting upset, like, man, we haven't been invited to what do they call the gym, Gimjang, Jim Jang, in years since my husband died. And the only way you can bring honor to this family, bring honor back to this family, Gia, is if you bring a man home. She's like, no, I want to bring an education, a degree. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just bring, she's like, no, you bring a man home. And so that's kind of like the mission that Gia's on before she actually meets Atticus, our hero, who I am proud of. But her dating skills sucks ass or whatever. I don't know what to be honest, me and my homeboy was talking about this a long time ago, but we were saying, like, when a man and a woman goes on a date, a woman should never be nervous. The guy should only be nervous or whatever, but I won't get into that. Maybe we'll talk about it on the live or something like that. But it was just kind of funny, this train wreck of speed dating that Gia's having, I mean, it wasn't that good. I don't remember every line of dialogue, but I was kind of saying to myself, like, why would you say that? She's number 31, getting all these X's on her name, and it's just not really turning out for her. But I believe that was her best friend that came over and was like, well, maybe, or actually I'm going a little bit too fast. I think before that scene right there, we saw her at the hospital, and they had all these dead, mutilated bodies, and they're doing their experiments, their science projects, trying to look at all the organs. And, she overheard somebody in the back, and, I had to write a lot of this down because it was in Korean and I just don't understand the terms, but they was like, oh my gosh, girl, you know what I'm saying? On the first day, he was speaking Bernard to me. Oh, really? Bernard? What did y'all do to, and I'm just like, what is all this going on? So apparently you need to have a rapport with a woman before you start speaking in this type of language, or, they was like, we should have spoken in this language or this context, but banal is something for, the nitty gritty or whatever. And so I kind of thought that was interesting, but that's when we skip forward to the speed dating where Gia is number 31. But her best friend, is like, look, I don't want to go on a date with this guy by myself. He seems dumb as not dumb as a doorknob, but as boring as ditch water. And I thought that was hilarious. I kind of laughed out loud when she said that part. Yeah, but her friend is named Young Ja. Every time that came up, I always wanted to say Young Jock, like, yo, Young Jock. But, I'm being silly. And she don't want to go with Captain Ditchwater alone. So they go to the club, and, this is where we're going to see Gia bring home a man. And it's a nice scene, and the scenery is nice, and she lights the candles, and all the candles light up. I kind of would have been freaked out by that or whatever. And she proceeds to take off her clothes, looking all good. And Jamie Chung is cute. Also about that, we see that, in their court, here in America, most people are judged by their looks, unfortunately, instead of their, intellect and all that good stuff. But, they were giving each other compliments at the speed dating thing, like, oh, this person, she was like, yeah, he's as dull as ditchwater, but he's really nice to look at. So she just really wasn't, into dating this guy because, not just because of his looks, but, he was dull. So that's, he chose her, or, so I mean, she just wasn't happy. But going back, they're setting the scene, and she takes off her clothes, and she's looking all cute and innocent over there. And dude is like, oh, it's about to go down. And he's getting excited, as I can understand, taking off his clothes. And he goes ahead and gets his. And this kind of just gives that you've heard the joke coming and going at the same time, unfortunately. And he goes ahead and gets his orgasm, busts his nut. And that's when all the tentacles come out. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. What is going on here? This is nasty. Now, later on, we find out in the episode that she is the nine-tailed fox spirit, the nine-tailed Kumuno spirit. But she had one come, I think she had a tentacle coming out of, I think, her asshole, her vagina, that's 2. And then 2 more tentacles coming out of her nose, so that's 4. 2 more tentacles coming out of her ears, so that's 6. And then 2 more tentacles coming out of her eyes, so that's 8. And then a tentacle coming out of her mouth, so that's 9. So yeah, the 9 tail. So she got 9 tails coming out everywhere. Some are bigger and smaller than others. And and when she does it, she's absorbing souls, and she can get all the memories, and the body just explodes, blood everywhere, and she just takes it back like it's something else. You know what I'm saying? Can you read between the lines of what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is nasty as hell. What is going on here? Like, how this is gross. Okay, I did not turn on to see people's bodies explode, and the perpetrator is acting like it's not even a big deal. What is going on there? This is freaking nasty. And the mom comes in there like, yes, 10 more. And I'm just like, okay, what are y'all, some type of cult or something like this? This is very sick, and I did not sign up for this at all. Now, this is where we kind of fast forward to the summer of 1950. So we're not in 1949 anymore. They're in the theater. Gia is looking like she does have some type of remorse. she didn't really look like that when she destroyed the body, when she absorbed the soul and got all the memories. But that's when we hear all this thundering. I thought it was an earthquake, but America's coming in. Don't be afraid, throwing papers. We're here to set you free, and all this other bull crap that they on. And things are kind of just going crazy. They in there and they're hanging so-called communists from ropes and stuff, and the Americans are just standing by and people are cheering. And it's just I don't want to see nobody hung from anything. It's just horrible. But this is why y'all can possibly help me out, because this is where I'm not understanding. So I'm assuming that Gia, and I don't mean to sound insensitive when I say this, but she was conceived unwillfully. She, Uma, her mother, was raped by her father, or it could have been mutual, and then later on, Gia's father was raping her, or he could have been raping both Gia and the mother at the same time, and the mother was sick of it, so she summoned the communal spirit, Fumudang, to right the wrongs that her husband did. Now, so Gia is this spirit, this monster, and she can't have any feelings because she's a monster. But what was kind of weird and confusing to me is maybe they were switching back and forth, but at times it seemed like Uma was actually speaking to her daughter Gia, but it was other times where it seemed like she was speaking to the actual Kimono spirit. And I couldn't tell. I was like, okay, which one are you talking to? And sometimes it would just completely change. I think at one point in time, the spirit came out and Gia's voice sounded like really, really deep. And so that was just like a bit confusing to me, because I was trying to get the full context and, analyze it the correct way. And I'm just like, okay, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the spirit, or are you talking to the daughter? I just don't know. I mean, it's all disgusting, and I'm just like, this is nasty. And at first I was thinking that the lady at the end was Mudang, but they were later talking about a shaman. So I'm thinking like the lady at the end was the shaman. So who is Mudang? I don't know. I mean, I was pressing pause and I was rewinding it and things of that nature, But it's just a little weird. So if y'all can help me out, I don't know if I fully understood it, but the husband of Uma, the father of Gia, was a monster. He was raping Gia, his daughter. And the mother wasn't having that and said, hey, let me conjure this spirit. Let me summon the spirit. And and so I'm guessing that they went to the shaman, asked for some help, and I was like, okay, there's a price to pay. You're gonna have to consume 1,000 souls, and then I'm not 1,000 souls, 100 souls, and then everything will go back to normal. Of course, we found out they get up to about 99. But something about that relationship there was just really interesting, because at one point I believe she was talking to young John, and she was saying that our mothers or our parents don't value what we want. They're thinking about themselves for the most part, and what they want, and they try to mold us in the ways that will better suit them than will better suit us. Now, I think that's the case for everybody on the planet. Well, not everybody on the planet, but all cultures around the planet. There's always parents that have children. They're either trying to live their dream through their kids because they wasn't able to attain that, or just really control their life in every which way. And I mean, I can understand like Uma's frustration and her being heartbroken that her husband is not there. Her husband was a monster and was raping Gia. So it's just really complicated. Interesting story, but just overall, still the whole thing was just gross to me. Now, it actually turns out that young Ja was the spy and Atticus is the one that shot her. I was like, oh, why y'all gotta have the black people shooting everybody in the face now? You know what I'm saying? I was kind of ticked off by that, but I guess I gotta get over it. But now we're fast forwarding into fall of 1950, so we're at a year point now in the episode. And Atticus is in bed now, hurt, and he can't read because his glasses are broke. And that's when Gia sees Atticus in bed, and like she said later on in the episode, like she was so angry that like she was hit with a bolt of lightning, and she was just like, oh, I want to hurt this dude. So this is like their first encounter. She's frustrated. She's going outside. It's raining. She got all this blood on her hand, and she's just angry, rightfully so. I mean, her best friend was shot to death in her face right next to her, and then the murderer, who is Atticus right now, is in the bed, and it seems like she's gonna have to take care of him or whatever. But she's trying to be strategic and be like, hey mom, I found somebody that I'm gonna take the last soul. This asshole over here that shot young Ja in the head, my best friend, is going down. Mother don't care. Mother cool with it. But this is when Atticus and Gia just start to fall in love or whatever. I mean, it was in books. She tried to stun on him and talking about she read the book Count of Monte Cristo, but she ended up watching the movie, and he checked her on that. And we just get a little bit more of his backstory on like why he doesn't have a great relationship with his father, how he's trying to get up under the thumb of him, and that's why he just moved far away, but he still feels like he's up under him. And the other Chinese man, not the Chinese man, I don't know what he was. He could have been Chinese, he could have been Korean, he could have been, I don't know. I'll just say he was American. But he was just say Asian American, and he was like, look, man, over here I'm called Gook, and over there I'm called something else, and neither one of them just fit in. So that's just kind of like, what led them that they're on the path that they're on now. And I can understand that too. If you're not fitting in somewhere, you're going to go somewhere else where you're not, fit in. Now, also, I believe this was a conversation that was had between Uma and Gia, is that Uma was like, we can't let our fears shape us. Because they were both afraid of what's to come, that she was possessed by some spirit, and and Uma wants her daughter back, and so it's just I don't know. I ain't gonna lie, guys. This one was a weird one for me. Was it weird for y'all? Be honest. Let me know. But things are really just starting to develop between Atticus and Gia. He invites her to the base, and you got the males out there doing their disrespectful catcalling. It was just disgusting. Yeah, make sure you're not effing your sister or your cousin or whatever he said, and make sure you leave enough room for me. And I'm just like, man, y'all just saying it like that? The woman can hear you. She's right there. My goodness. But hey, I guess that's just, how it is, unfortunately. But, Atticus looks so innocent, man. He's just so happy, like, yeah, I did this. And he's like, and they started playing the Judy Garland movie. And, he's doing what he likes her a lot. And he's trying to put his bid in, and they're about to have sex, and I'm like, oh, is this it where the tentacles gonna come out? But no, she felt bad and she kicked him out, and that's good. I'm happy that she did. Mama came in there mad, and this is kind of where a lot of the plot started to kind of unravel and reveal itself, and they didn't have, Atticus tells us that he's a virgin right now, and at the time, and she was really aggressive, like, well, you don't want to? And he's like, whoa, I do, just let me get my mind right. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get into well, if you're a virgin, you're not going to know what autopilot mode is. But, anyway, he was just trying to get his mind set. And she was ready to put it on him, but her conscience came over her. And she was like, no, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? You need to get out of here. And, the mom was mad, but I do like the conversation that they had right after that. They outside in the daytime. You killed my best friend. The acting was really good in the scene, especially by Gia. They're all asking the right questions. They're both frustrated. Like, why did you go out with me? You knew this whole time. And, and she was like, well, I was going to kill your ass. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, yeah, I can't give I did. He probably thinking, yeah, I did just blow your best friend's head off, in your face. And, I kind of liked that. But they really expressed themselves there and how much they really did care about each other, because, at this point in time, a number of months have gone by, and this is where they end up. No, one of the things is he was like, look, I did a lot of monstrous things that I'm ashamed of. And she said a line, monstrous things. I can't remember who said the line, but monstrous things don't make us monsters. And so I really do like that. And then the next scene is where they have the nice romantic scene where they're having sex on the floor, in the room where the movie theater was with their first date. And I thought that was quite nice. And, he got his. I don't know if she got hers. But, they were just embracing each other. She was asking, is he okay? And I was like, oh, look at this wonderful love story blossoming in between these two. But he don't know that she's a freaking demon Kumuno spirit yet or whatever. Now, I don't like this love story as much as I do with Letty and Atticus. But, for what it is right now, it's all good. I'm not complaining. But now we jump a few months ahead to winter of 1950. So they're living it up. They're having a good time. They in the cabin, that she's reading him the story of the nine-tailed fox spirit Kumuno. nine-tailed fox spirit communal form that comes in the form of a beautiful woman. And so my thing is, I'm like, is Gia completely gone? Like, does Gia like not exist at all? And just her whole persona is this nine-tailed fox communal spirit, or has the spirit consumed Gia? You know, like, which one is, I still don't know at this point, you know, that I'm still just kind of like confused by that. And, you know, she, earlier she was telling her mom that, no, I can control my tails. You know, Atticus telling her like, hey, I've earned enough points to move away. You know, I could stay with you because I'm feeling you or whatever. And she's like, no, you don't have to do that. And then this is where they're about to, this is where they start getting it on again. And she cannot control those tails. And they just come out of nowhere and just freak Atticus up. And one of his memories, he was in bed with somebody else. Look like another woman. So, I'm kind of interested in who that is. You know what I'm saying? Because he said he was, maybe, I was going to say maybe that was the memory of them having sex, but they didn't have sex in the bed. And plus, he was in bed with a black person, a black woman. And so I don't know. I wonder if that's going to reveal itself as well. But she was able to get control and throw him off. But he was freaked the F out, man, and rightfully so. Like, God, can you imagine? I would not want to have, like, that'll scar you for life. I'm glad that wasn't his first time that he got attacked by tentacles when he was having sex, but that would definitely ruin your life right there, seriously. But he runs the hell out of there, man. He's scared, like, get the hell away from me, get away. I'm gonna blame her. She tried to say it, and then please don't go. I'm a Kamuno. If you leave, you're gonna die. You know, the mom comes out there and they have a little confrontation, and Atticus is going. Atticus not only leaves, he runs back to America. Like, I gotta get the hell out of here, and I don't blame him. But then we have this last scene right here. You know, she only had one soul left for everything to go back to normal, I guess. And that's when the shaman was showing up, talking about all her stuff. And we see this red fox in the background as CGI. And she says, you haven't become one with the darkness yet. You will see so many deaths before, you can relax or something like that. And that's the end of the episode right there, guys. But yeah, I just really wasn't feeling this as much as the other ones. It was very weird for me. As you can see, there were some things that I did not understand. So maybe y'all can help me out. Because, maybe I did understand it and, maybe I didn't. But, whatever I did leave out, guys, just put it down in the comment section below. And, guys, that is just my opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Help me reach 30,000 subscribers. And also, guys, look me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all that good stuff. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. And you have links down in the pinned comments and description box. But guys, let me know what you thought about the episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you like Gia? Do you understand all this Kamuno nine-tail fox spirit stuff with shamans and mudangs and all this other interesting terminology? Just tell me everything about the episode. I want to see it. I want to read it. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget to always chase your dreams, because I'm chasing mine. My name is Brandon Keith Avery. And that's just my opinion. Peace.